extensions like color-coded cables. Always use 3-pin plugs, as these have a fuse inside and also offer good electrical contact into the socket. For offices with sensitive equipment like computers and servers, ensure that there is proper earthing in place, including earth electrodes for extra protection during the period. In places where water and electricity are being used, avoid wet hands when operating appliances. Never insert metallic objects into sockets. Always use 3-pin plugs for a perfect fit. Do not operate switches while standing with bare feet on ceramic tiles.
Minute keme di yalla me yalonko nimbulu kono diamu ngo be bulu dorong isi diamu no fanandale amengo merendi fulanya wala mu diamonti e ka dalasi keme fula dalasi tallulo jo karo kono bari ye minute tallulu dilale me yalonko isi kumandiro keno le ila bulu kono.
Good evening and welcome to the news. In the headlines tonight, Vice President Jai Sedi meets a delegation of Saudi clerics who are in Banjul to help build the capacity of local imam, qadis and women. Young anti-AIDS campaigners in the Gambia intensify efforts to mitigate the spread of HIV and AIDS. Egypt fires more than 600 police officers for their role in the killings of anti-Mubarak protesters in Cairo's Tahrir Square. And Mumbai on red alert as a triple bomb blast in the Indian commercial city leaves 17 people dead and more than 100 others injured. These stories and much more coming ahead in the news. I am Maisato Mane. His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh, has received a congratulatory message from the Gambia's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Angela B. Colley, on the recent birthday anniversary of the Gambian leader. High Commissioner Colley offered prayers on behalf of the staff of the High Commission and Gambians under its jurisdiction for Allah's continued blessings on President Jammeh, his family, and the entire Gambian nation. The Special Criminal Court has rescheduled the trial involving former Inspector General of Police Ensar Baji and his co-accused Ali Cisse. The two men are facing more than 20 counts from violent robbery interfering with judicial proceedings at the High Court Special Criminal Division. Ibrahim Ajata reports.
Joseph Enwa Ikpala of the Special Criminal Court has adjourned the criminal trial against the former Inspector General of Police Ensar Baji and ex-prison superintendent Ali Cisse for judgment on the 29th of July 2011 in the absence of a defense address. It could be recalled that the case was adjourned for both parties to file written addresses, but when the case was mentioned this morning, the defense lawyer for the accused persons, lawyer Bori Toure, had still not filed his final arguments. Lawyer Bori Toure told the Special Criminal Court that he was unable to file his address due to some problems with his laptop. The defense counsel asked the court to extend the time allocated in order to file his closing arguments, but prosecution led by the Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, S.H. Mbahum, opposed the application, asserting that they had agreed on non-extension of the dates provided in the last sitting. In his ruling, the presiding judge, Justice Joseph Enwa Ikpala, revealed that parties had agreed on non-extension of the time allocated, and since prosecution has asked the court to proceed with judgment, he is going to do just that. The presiding judge subsequently adjourned the case to the 29th of July 2011 for judgment. Ensar Baji and Ali Cisse are facing 21 counts of abuse of office, violent robbery, criminal aiding and abetting, among others, at the Special Criminal Court. 15 of these counts are meant solely for the former police boss. Ibrahim Ajata, GRTS.
And still on legal matters, Justice Joseph Enwa Ikpala has convicted 5 Nigerian nationals and a Gambian charged with abduction while discharging the 6th accused at the Special Criminal Division of the High Court. Ibrahim Ajata again.
Against the 6 Nigerians and Gambian nationals began in 2009 when prosecutors brought 11 charges of abduction, obtaining money by a false pretense, stealing and conspiracy to commit felony against the 7 following the abduction of Australian national Justin Liebig in the Gambia. 17 witnesses, including Justin Liebig, testified for prosecution, who also tendered a host of documents in the trial. The accused persons had a no case to answer submission dismissed by the court. They later opened their defense, where all of them testified except the 6th accused, who relied entirely on the evidence called by prosecution. Analyzing the facts of the case, Justice Ikpala emphasized that in order to prove conspiracy, more than one person must be involved in an act with the same objective. Chilling and distressing were the words Ikpala used to describe the evidence in Liebig, the first prosecution witness, who is said to have been abducted and tied inside the toilet, where the accused persons demanded ransom in the form of $20,000 for his freedom. The presiding judge told the court that the case of the prosecution should be considered entirely on the face of the evidence called, while explaining that the first accused, who is the protagonist of the whole episode, represented all accused persons when he contacted and forwarded a business proposal to the Australian national, who was eventually kidnapped when he came to the country to finalize the said transaction. Justice Ikpala subsequently dismissed counts 5 to 11 for want of prosecution and found all accused except the 6th guilty on the remaining 4 counts. The 6th accused was eventually acquitted and discharged. Defense lawyers Bori Toure and Hajom Gay both mitigated on behalf of their clients, asking the court to exercise mercy and to use its discretion of a fine rather than imposing a custodial sentence on the accused who were confirmed as first offenders. Justice Ikpala later sentenced the 6 convicts to pay a fine of $20,000 on count 1 or face 7 years in prison. On count 2, they were asked to pay $20,000 or spend 7 years in jail, except the 5th accused, who was handed an optional jail term of 3 years. On count 3, all convicts were sentenced to a fine of $25,000 or face 10 years in prison. And on count 4, $10,000 is in default to serve a 3-year jail term. All sentences are to run concurrently. The convicts were duly reminded of their right to appeal. Ibrahim Ajata, GRTS.
A delegation of Saudi clerics, accompanied by officials of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council, called on the Vice President, Her Excellency Ajay Dr. Aissatou Njie Saidi, on Thursday. The delegation is in the country to build the capacity of local imam, qadis and women. Mamadou Jallo was at State House and reports members of the APRC Spain chapter also called on the Vice President to brief her on the activities they have been embarking on.
The clerics were the first to call on the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Her Excellency Ajay Dr. Aissatou Njie Saidi, at State House, accompanied by officials of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council. According to Dr. Mbaika, the clerics are in the country to build the capacities of local imams, qadis and women.
We can call it building of capacities, because these imams are graduates from the universities, various universities in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, in Sudan. But this kind of training is just capacity building. This is why they are building their capacities in terms of judiciary for the qadis, and in terms of teaching Arabic language, in terms of dealing with people, because calling people to Islam needs means and trends. So they are giving them many good capacities, equip them with knowledge, not knowledge in that sense, because the basic knowledge is there, but give him how to use this knowledge.
The Vice President welcomed the clerics on behalf of the President of the Republic, whom he described as a great patron of Islam in the Gambia. He described President Jammeh as God-fearing and has sacrificed a lot for Islam and Muslims. He described as critical any training that would enhance the knowledge of imams and women.
Because the imams are found everywhere in this country. And they've been trained. They get their training from different parts of the world. Different tariqas also. Therefore, standardizing the training is very important to us. That has been a challenge in this country.
The Vice President also hailed the close relations between Saudi Arabia and the Gambia.